Well, welcome back, everyone. We have Lindsey Gallagher, our naturalist from Johnny Appleseed Parks. Welcome, Lindsey.
Good morning, Chris.
All right, today we're going to be talking about a creature that we're all familiar with, and that is the frog, right?
That is right. Good morning. We're going to have fun with frogs today, Chris.
We always have fun with frogs.
We do. Now, when I think of frogs, I think of spring. And we're still a couple weeks out from our true astronomical spring, where the sun's rays will be exactly positioned over the Earth's equator, and we'll experience equal lengths of day and night. But the calendar says March, and the weather's been waffling around, so by all accounts, it's already spring here in Ohio.
That's right.
And when I think of spring, the first thing that springs to mind are frogs. So
brings to mind clever.
We're gonna leap right in. I'm full of them this morning. Now, frogs belong to a class of animals called amphibians. And amphibians have that wet, sometimes slimy skin, and by their nature, they lead a double life. So the life cycle of amphibian begins in the water as a small gelatinous egg, and over time, through transition and transformation, called metamorphosis, they will become an adult form that lives primarily on land. And the name amphibian actually translates from the Greek as both life. So they're leading that double life.
Okay.
Now, there are a number of different types of amphibians. So under that amphibian umbrella, we have frogs and toads. We also have salamanders and newts. And then we have another small and very unique class of amphibians called caecilians. They don't live here in Ohio. They're tropical. They live underground. But here in Ohio, folks are probably most familiar, like you mentioned, with our 15 species of frogs and toads. And they are easily identifiable by a number of unique physical features and adaptations.
Okay.
And if I could have a little bit of help this morning,
sure.
Chris, you'll show me, show all the folks at home how fashionable frogs can be.
Okay,
right?
Sounds good.
Okay, so the first thing that we think of about frogs specifically is their wet and generally slimy skin. So I have some frog skin here for you.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
okay.
Just like this mesh jersey that is filled with small holes, we can think of a frog's skin dotted with tiny permeable pores that allow gases like oxygen and fluids like water to be easily transferred across and absorbed. And to keep that breathability intact, we know that frogs live in or near the water. So switch you just a little bit there. But frogs in your frog pouch, frogs also have mucus glands in their skin to help give them an extra layer of protection from drying out if they have to be away from the water. So a little lotion.
Didn't know so much about myself.
There you go. Now, because they are living an aquatic lifestyle, frogs, they swim around, and they have a couple adaptations for swimming as well. So the first of those are these very large back legs with very long webbed feet. Now, frog feet are only webbed on the back. I know you can't see them on camera here, but the front feet are actually not webbed. So those back legs, the webbing in between the toes, it helps to catch the water, right? Just like we would if we were swimming. And it helps to propel the frogs forward. Now, another really unique adaptation for an aquatic lifestyle, for swimming, is extra protection for the eyes. So frogs have a nictitating membrane represented by these swim goggles here. It's actually a third clear eyelid, and it helps to protect the surface of the frog's eyeball while they're underwater. Perfect.
This is awesome.
When the frogs are on dry land as well, that nictitating membrane will come around and distribute lubricating drops. Now, all this swimming, this moving around that the frogs do, and boy, frogs can sure can get hungry, right? Frogs have just the tongue to be able to get the job done. So, like a party horn, go ahead. You got it. Frog tongues are positioned at the front of the mouth. So the tip of the tongue is launched forward from the back. Now, frog tongues really aren't as long as we think. They're only about an inch long across all species. But if our tongues were as long as a frog's, it'd reach down to our belly button. And we don't have that super sticky mucus on our tongue like frogs do. It behaves like oobleck. You've ever seen that? It's kind of like slime. When it's under high pressure, it becomes a solid. But when it's loosened and under low pressure, it becomes really sticky as a gel, and that's just what a frog tongue will do. Any flies or crayfish, or maybe even other small frogs on the menu this morning for you?
Oh yeah,
I
can't wait.
Got it.
I can't wait.
Who wore it better? I need to bring my frogs in.
I know, exactly.
Right?
All right, well, Lindsey Gallagher, thank you so much for teaching us all about the frog. It's kind of hard to talk with this in my mouth.
You got it.
Well, anyway, don't go away because we have more when we return.